Hey guys, welcome back to Russian Libertas Corpus YouTube channel, where we, Alexei Postnikov and Gala Bogatova, are talking about Russian politics, Russian society, and answering your questions about Russia, life in Russia, and today we're gonna even answer about us, I think, because we collected some questions from people we know.
Yeah.
Because you should ask more questions. Also, we didn't answer some of your questions, so we kind of feel bad about it. But
Yeah, but these questions they came before, so this is like long overdue. We got them quite a time ago, and we have three questions that we didn't target yet, and the first of it is was very interesting because people started asking directly about us, which is flattering. Yeah, it's pleasant. So one of the questions sounds as follows. How did you two know each other? How do you know each other? How do we know each other? So who's going to start? Like, you start the how you remember the story. I will add my details.
I mean, you sound like this some sort of a detective story, which is not. It was pretty mundane. We have
Mundane? I don't know.
well, the fact how we met, because we have a common friend, and once
Once upon a time.
once upon a time, I think it was last spring, so the spring of 2022,
Yeah.
maybe in May.
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh, hey, my friend is moved here from Miami here to New York, and she's interested in politics." And I'm like, "Oh, cool." And then she was like, "Maybe you guys should meet." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure."
And then I heard about you, and one of my friends, they told me that you used to be a staff in Navalny's team, and I used to support Navalny when I was back in Russia, in St. Petersburg, in 2020, 13, 14, like at that time. And I was searching for like-minded people around, and Alexei was a great candidate, especially considering that I was going to protests, and now I decided that I need a companion for that endeavors, and I invited Alexei to a protest. I believe it was Brighton Beach.
Yes.
Yes, and
Where else Russians should meet in
course.
New York?
Right. And we met at a protest and decided that, I guess, we need to use our capacity, whatever we have, as knowledge, talent, skills. I wouldn't say talent, of course, but because I'm humble. But I would say free time, English proficiency at a, bearable level, camera, and some political opinion that we have. So at least that we decided to employ, just because we could not stand by while all that happening. On the side, you probably know that we are opening a non-profit organization that is going to be busy with helping immigrants in terms of socializing and adapting in a new environment. That was the project that united us in the first place. But here we with you guys, we're consistent in terms of communication. So this is the story of how we met. And the second question.
And also, we started to do things right away. In 10 months, we released our first video.
Yeah, well, we took a while, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you choose to leave Russia, or were you forced to leave Russia? That's a very rhetorical question. What would you say about your case?
I would say it depends on the definition of forced, because if we understand forced as, let's say, a criminal investigation that neither of us were part of as of
at
now.
The time that I was living in 2015 after Crimea was annexed.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I'm not going to be a part of it. Thank you.
Yeah.
I wasn't forced in the first place.
Yeah, and then I left in 2018 and also wasn't forced directly well, or indirectly. But then, if we understand enforced very, I would say, literally, but then at the time in 2018, it was right before Putin's re-election in 2018. And basically the question was, what will I do if I stay? Because Putin will obviously, it became obvious that he's gonna rule until he dies. So that's that. And I was a journalist, and then the field for being a journalist was shrinking because the number of independent media in Russia were also shrinking. And I just decided that maybe it's a time to, I don't know, live my life. And I tried that, sort of distance myself from Russia, but then, you know, the war started.
It's not really that easy to distance yourself from Russia if you're Russian.
Yeah. So in that way, if you think that can be described as like forced, then
I think you can. If you say that you're forced, for example, I was international relations major, and if I saw myself in international relations in a while, did I really have a choice to choose, you know, this doctrine and be a part of something that I was not ideologically prone to? I guess that can be called forced, but forced in terms of forced by your conscience, by your conscience.
Forced.
Yeah, by your conscience, but you by your I don't know, moral compass, I would say. But other than that, there is no forced displacement policy in Russia as it was in Soviet Union.
Yeah, because I mean we can even, you know, raise the question. People who left Russia right after mobilization started, not even after the war started, after mobilization started, were they forced because they did not want to be mobilized and go to this war? Well, I mean, government sort of interested in having people because they need people to send to the war to kill and to die. So they're not exactly forced, but
right.
You know what I'm talking about. That's interesting question.
I mean, forced.
Let us know what you think. Like,
what
is
you
it
define?
Forced or not?
Yeah, what you define by forced. And I think if we have, as viewers, if we have any ICE officers, I would also appreciate if you share your definition of forced, refuge. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. That would be interesting. Why not? I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's an open, you know, I would really like to see what's called forced and what it means. It's like what? If you don't get out, we will kill you?
No, I mean that's forced. Like if it's a direct threat, that's definitely forced. But if it's like well, if you stay, it's not there's really not a lot for you to do here, and if you're gonna do some stuff, you might end up in prison.
Well, yeah, if you just like remain being yourself, you're gonna end up in prison.
Yeah.
Is it really forced, or is it a choice? Like, where is this fine line between being forced and choosing to? Anyways, we have the following question here.
All right.
That's very interesting because honestly, I don't have an answer to this, but I would love to contemplate with you guys and also hear your feedback. It sounds as follows. What do people in Russia think of Trump? I honestly don't have any statistics on that.
Yeah.
The only thing I cannot even, really contemplate about the statistics. But what I did notice is that in the surrounding that I have, and I used to have in Russia, whoever supports Putin, they are more likely to support Trump. There is a direct correlation, at least in my experience. This is the only thing I can share.
Yeah, I would say the same. It doesn't mean 100% correlation between these two, but well, the reason for that, I think that Trump, especially in 2016 when he got elected, people, Russian parliament was cheering to that with champagne. I mean, they were celebrating, which never happened before in the case of victory of any politician anywhere outside of Russia. So that was pretty significant gesture. And since then, it's a very complicated relationship between Russian government and Trump. Well, as you may be aware, there was the whole investigation into Trump's involvement with some Russian, like his Russian connections, which didn't lead anywhere, but that was a thing. And then on the Russian side, I still think that Putin sort of sees Trump as someone with whom he can find a common language. So like they
exist in the common paradigm.
They can,
of psychopaths.
Yeah, they can exercise the art of deal, so to speak. But to be honest, when Trump was in the office, the sanctions against Russia implied after annexation of Crimea, but they were continuing. So Trump was like just following the plan that existed before. I mean, he met with Putin, and maybe he, also he met with Kim Jong Un from North Korea. So obviously he has sort of a case of liking, bad guys,
dictators.
Yeah, because but again, like in terms of like practical results, I mean, nothing. There was like not a lot of change in terms of like United States politics in towards Russia.
Only narrative and hope, and
Yeah, and then now again, Putin hoped that Trump will win again, or maybe Republicans will win, will take the presidential seat, because that might change the situation with support of Ukraine during this war. That's their hope, and I guess they translating those narratives like, guys, like, don't worry. I mean, Russian propaganda, like, guys, don't worry, Republicans will win in the United States, and then we're gonna win in Ukraine. And again, I think through that, some percentage of people who are susceptible to Russian propaganda, who cheering for the war, they might very be into Trump.
Might be. The thing is that I cannot really manipulate my hypotheses or ideas about that, because I really don't have hard statistics on that. And when I don't, I'd rather not to. But yeah, in my experience, whoever is pro-war or pro-Putin, they're more likely, out of all ex-presidents or presidential candidates in the United States, they're more likely to support specifically Trump, just because he exists in this psychopathic paradigm that they exist in. Because otherwise, how can you support war on Earth?
Yeah, it was like great minds think alike, sort of thing. Not great minds though, but think alike.
Think
I
alike.
guess.
Yeah,
Yes.
sick minds think alike.
Yes.
Well, I hope we answered your questions, guys, and we are looking forward to new ones. I really like to see your questions in the comments, and please, if your question is not answered, do not give up on us. We will absolutely 100% come back to our comments. Share with us whatever you are curious about in terms of upcoming elections, maybe, or draw a picture of a fiction world where the war is over and how you see it, or if you'd like us to fantasize about it. Please, share whatever crazy ideas you have.
Yes. And of course, like this video, show it to your friends, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time. Bye.